Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Juventus won a Paul Pogba swap deal. According to Calcio Mercato, Juventus are willing to offload Adrian Rabiot and Aaron Ramsey to afford Paul Pogba. Now, reliable journalist Fabrizio Romano said that Juventus are refusing to give up on re-signing Pogba, and he did also mention that Ronaldo is key to Paul Pogba's exit. I said there is a good chance that he will go back to Juventus because he did endure 4 very good years with Juventus before he rejoined Manchester United. And narratives from the Italian press said earlier on this season that Juventus tried to offer us around 4 players in exchange for Paul Pogba. He hadn't only been linked with a return to Juventus, he's been relentlessly linked to a move to Real Madrid, and PSG have been in for him, so he has had a long-running transfer saga. I want us to keep Paul Pogba potentially past the summer because he's an imperative player for Man United. You know, he brings creativity to the team. And I think we do need to keep him on that left wing, you know, in more of an advanced role because that's where he's more effective. But disregarding Paul Pogba, we lack creativity in the team and we are far too defensive. We've been getting the best out of him in recent months, and he obviously delivered the goods in Milan. He came on as a substitute and scored and made an instant impact. He's just come back from a thigh injury not so long ago. He was out for a while. He had an ankle injury earlier on this season and he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury, so he has sustained a few injuries now at Man United. If we do sell him in the summer transfer window, I reckon we'd get from between 60 to 70 million pounds. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said he's hopeful that Paul Pogba will stay and sign a new contract. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did reveal that we have been in contract negotiations with Paul Pogba. But as far as I'm aware at the moment, we have not yet made a formal contract offer. But Ole suggested earlier on this season that Pogba could sign a new contract. Earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract with Man United until June 2022. He is our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him, and this is his 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. He's won the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield so far. Now, Paul Pogba's brother, Matthias Pogba, he gave us an update on Paul Pogba's future earlier on this season. And he actually advised us to sell Paul Pogba in the summer transfer window because he said it's very likely he'll leave for nothing next year, and he said he's got no intentions of signing a new contract. Mino Raiola, he's desperate to get his client out of the football club. Mino Raiola doesn't have a good relationship with Man United and he has been criticised a lot, but he did say earlier on this season that he's got no intentions of destabilising his client's season, and he made an admission saying that he's working quietly on Paul Pogba's transfer. Back in December, he made an announcement regarding Pogba, and Solskjaer was furious with Mino Raiola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. But analysing the vast majority of Pogba's career since he rejoined, he has been inconsistent. He's been nowhere near as good as we expected, but in the last couple of months, we've been getting the best out of him, like I mentioned earlier on. We had Pogba when he was a lot younger under Ferguson, but we had to let him go due to limited appearances. So that's some more news on him. So would you take Adrian Rabiot and Aaron Ramsey for Paul Pogba? Now, on my recent video, I give you the news on Jesse Lingard. Now, Man United are open to a return for Jesse Lingard. And it says Jesse Lingard could be given a new 3-year contract. So, maybe Jesse Lingard won't be leaving Man United in the summer after all. Solskjaer's come out and said that he's been impressed with Jesse Lingard. Lingard's current contract expires with Man United in 2022. He went to West Ham on loan in January. And since he's gone to West Ham, he has made an impact. He even played in England's 5-0 win against San Marino and put a very good performance out. But anyway, West Ham are keen on getting Lingard permanently. I think they value him from between 15 to 20 million, but I think we would demand more than that if we are to let him go permanently. Lingard's on his 5th loan spell because before he's had loan spells with Leicester, Birmingham, Brighton and Derby. We let him go out on loan because obviously Lingard lost his place in the team and he endured a bad period, Lingard, where he didn't score 1 goal in the Premier League or register 1 assist for over a year. So could be back in the first team next season. But we are going to sell quite a few players in the summer transfer window. There's a lot of Manchester United fans that are saying we need to sell Anthony Martial because Martial has been out of form for the vast majority of this season. He's had his chances, but he hasn't converted them, so he's been heavily criticised. But Ollie said earlier on this season that he's backing Martial to rediscover his form, and he said he's been impressed with his work rate. There again, Martial could stay potentially past the summer, but I don't want him to. He's just come back from injury not so long ago, but Martial was good last season and he was good in his debut season under Louis van Gaal. Martial has been at the club over 5 years. We got him from Monaco for £54 million. But he's had 2 good seasons in my opinion. But if we sold him in the summer transfer window, I reckon we'd get around £30 million. Edinson Cavani, I think there's a good chance he's going to be leaving as well. Some United fans would like him to stay for next season, and Ollie's obviously come out and said that he's hopeful Cavani will stay for next season, and he's revealed that we have been in contract talks with Edinson Cavani. Football Insider said not so long ago that Edinson Cavani had reached a verbal agreement to join Boca Juniors at the end of the season. If he goes in the summer transfer window, we won't receive a transfer fee for him because his current contract expires in June. But Ollie did say earlier on this season that Cavani was closer to Boca Juniors and staying at Manchester United, and his father came out a few weeks ago and said that Cavani is unhappy, he's not comfortable in England and he wants to leave. And reports from Argentina said earlier on this season that Cavani's decided to leave the club after 1 season. Cavani's sustained a few injuries at Man United, but I think he has made a fantastic impact since he's come in. His hold-up play is good, he keeps the ball well, he creates chances and he scores good goals. Juan Mata, I think there's a good chance he'll be going in the summer transfer window. Juan Mata's current contract expires in June, but there's an option to trigger his contract for the further year. We'll try and trigger that 1-year extension so we can receive a transfer fee for him. I reckon we'd get from between 15 to 20 million. Obviously, wouldn't get much for him. But Juan Mata's lost his place in the team. Earlier on this season, he rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. But I think he's had a good career at Man United. He's been at the club over 6 years. He's made over 200 appearances in all competitions and he's scored 50 goals. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. There's a good chance that Donny van de Beek's going to go in the summer transfer window. I don't want him to go, but I think it would be the right decision to let him go because he's not getting enough chances at Manchester United. Most of Donny van de Beek's appearances at the club have come from the bench. He's only started 2 games in the league this season. And Mark Hughes was talking about him not so long ago, saying that Donny van de Beek feels lost at the club and he's edging closer to a Man United exit. But prior to that, he said actually Donny van de Beek feels loved at Manchester United despite his lack of game time. But prior to that, he said that Donny van de Beek has threatened to quit the club after 1 season due to his lack of game time. And he said he wants to hold showdown talks with Ed Woodward regarding his future. Don't forget Van de Beek was recently an unused substitute in Netherlands 4-2 defeat to Turkey in Istanbul. But Ronald de Boer has actually backed Donny van de Beek to be a success at Man United. But we got him in a deal worth £40 million, and he's versatile, he can play in 3 different roles. Recent narratives said we could use Donny van de Beek in a swap deal with Dortmund. Now, Matic, there's a good chance we'll sell him because Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but he still gets his chances. He's had some good games as a Man United, but analysing the vast majority of his games, he's been very inconsistent. Matic has always been a static player, and I think the club made a mistake by giving him that new 3-year contract. He's been at the club almost 4 years. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Do you reckon we'll sell Fred in the summer transfer window? I'd keep him potentially past the summer. Like I said, good chance Pogba will go. Phil Jones, I want him to leave as well because he doesn't get in our team, and Phil Jones has always been inconsistent. You know, this is Jones' 10th season at Manchester United, so he's been a long servant and he's the only outfield player that's still here from the Ferguson era. He's been out of injury for over the years, Phil Jones. Sergio Romero, he's another one I want to go as well. Will we sell Eric Bay in the summer transfer window? I'd like him to stay potentially past the summer, Eric Bay, because I rate him as a good centre-half. My only element of concern about Bay is too injury prone, so in that aspect, he is a liability. Now, contract talks for Eric Bay are on hold because Bay wants assurances over his playing time. You can say he has lost his place in the team. Now, Bay recently apologised to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his Man United teammates for his disrespectful behaviour. Because it said Bay was furious with Solskjaer because he felt disrespected and not wanted by him, and Bay said he believes we're only offering him a new contract to simply increase his asking price. I think Bay's got like 15 months left on his current contract. And De Gea, I think there's a good chance we'll sell him in the summer transfer window. Because I reckon De Gea's now had his years at Man United, and I obviously want Dean Henderson to be our number 1 goalkeeper. And I think we'll be looking to get rid of Delors permanently, so imagine we sell all them players, we'll generate a substantial amount and it'll help us with our rebuilding process. This year's summer transfer window is the biggest in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial career. I'm expecting Man United to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer transfer window, and I've already identified the weaknesses in the squad. I reckon Solskjaer needs at least £200 million, to get the players he wants to recommend in, but he said earlier on this season that our transfer budget had been revealed, and it was £80 million. A lot of Man United fans were shocked in that aspect because we know £80 million is nowhere near enough for us to get the players we want to recommend in. Solskjaer did warn earlier on this season we may not do business as usual in the summer transfer window, obviously due to the pandemic. Tell me about her life. But yeah. But I'm expecting Solskjaer to get the backing he deserves in the summer transfer window. Because obviously Woodward has come out several times to show his support for Ollie, and even enduring them bad periods. Woodward assured that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job was safe. And Woodward recently come out and said that he believes that Solskjaer's the right man to take the club forward, and he released a statement earlier on this season saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So in that aspect, Woodward is backing him. Plus we've got John Murtough as a director of football. It was the right decision from the club to get a director of football in, because I said that's one of the structural changes that we needed, and John Murtough knows the club inside out. He's been at Man United since 2014, and obviously Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director, and he knows the club through thick and thin because he endured 2 decades as a player for Man United. Michael Carrick's part of the club and he knows the club well, and so too is Kieran McKenna. Solskjaer has had the transfer summit with our new recruitment team. He was discussing our transfer targets, and he was discussing our transfer plans for the summer transfer window. The summer transfer window will be his 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. So far he's endured 4 transfer windows, and I don't think he's been backed enough in the windows he has endured so far. He has made good signings, but he hasn't got all the players that he wanted to recommend in. But so far, he's spent almost £300 million. But like I've said in regards to the board, it's been one of the biggest issues at the club for a while. Because the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired haven't got the players they wanted to recommend in. In general, our recruitment policy's been poor, and we've also overpaid for players. But there has been quite a lot of players on our agenda. It's very imperative Solskjaer gets the right players in the summer transfer window. You obviously know the news on Erling Haaland. John Murtough and Darren Fletcher agree with Solskjaer in regards to Erling Haaland. Now, we are desperate to sign Erling Haaland. And it'd be good for Man United to sign Erling Haaland because he'd dramatically improve us and he would assure us goals. Solskjaer worked with Erling Haaland at Molde. Solskjaer gave him his debut at just the age of 16. And back in December 2019, Solskjaer and Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Erling Haaland to negotiate a possible move to Man United. And Ollie said earlier on this season he was keeping in touch with Haaland and he's following Erling Haaland's progress. He keeps calling Erling Haaland to persuade him to join Manchester United. Borussia Dortmund have revealed their asking price for Haaland. It's 154 million. Dortmund will find it extremely difficult to offload him if they're demanding that much. There's a good chance Haaland will leave though, especially if Dortmund fail to qualify for the Champions League. We know next year that Erling Haaland will be available for £68 million because that's when his release clause becomes active. But there has been so many clubs in for him. Minio Raiola, his agent, said earlier on this season there's around 6 clubs in England that can afford him. But since his arrival at Dortmund, he has been a revelation. He's been at Dortmund over the year. Dortmund paid just £17 million for him, and he's got a contract with Dortmund until 2024. Now, you know the news on Marcos Llorente. Reports from Spain said yesterday that Man United have put a £68.5 million offer in for Marcos Llorente, and it says we are prepared to double his £90,000 a week wages. Marcos Llorente currently plays for Atletico Madrid. He can play as a midfielder and a second striker. He's the age of 26, so he is in his prime. He's got a contract with Atletico Madrid until 2024. Atletico Madrid paid £35 million for him from Real Madrid. he did enjoy 11 years at Real Madrid before he went to Atletico Madrid. He also had a loan spell with Alaves. But apparently, his move to Man United, Marcos Llorente, is unlikely. I don't really know much about him, to be honest with you. Pedro Neto from Wolves, he's been another player on our agenda. There has been quite a few centre-halves on our agenda as well. Yesterday I gave you the news on Pau Torres from Villarreal. Reports in Spain said that Pau Torres wants to come to Manchester United. Real Madrid's president, Florentino Perez, is infuriated with Man United, obviously for entering the transfer race for Pau Torres because Real Madrid were emerged as the favourites to get him. It says we are preparing a bid for him. It says we believe we can get Pau Torres for less than his £52 million release clause. He's been at Villarreal for a long time now. He's got a contract with them until 2024. Do you think he'd go well alongside Maguire in our back line? Rafael Varane, he's another centre-half on our agenda. There's been a lot of narratives coming out regarding him. And Jules Koundé from Sevilla, he's another centre-half on our agenda. So there you go. But I think we need a striker, we need a defensive midfielder, we need a right winger, and we need a centre half. Now, I can assure that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be Man United manager in the summer transfer window. He'll be Man United manager next season. Next season will be his third full season at the club. This is his second full season at the moment. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not going to get sacked, even if we fail to win the Europa League this season. Our board have made that clear. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has agreed to sign a new 3-year contract worth 30 million. It's likely to be 2 years with an option of an extra one, and he has been given a pay rise. Sources at Old Trafford did say, though, a few weeks ago that talks were set to begin any day on the new deal because Ole is now into the final year of his current 3-year contract. Does Solskjaer deserve a new contract? In some aspects, yeah. In some aspects, no. Doesn't mean he's going to see out this 3-year contract because we're giving him it, though. It depends on how things go. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to win a trophy at Manchester United because that marks more progress. He's not yet won a trophy at Man United, and we haven't won a trophy since 2017, and that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. A club of our stature needs to be winning trophies, and Ole said not so long ago that winning trophies is an ego thing. He said that in regards to some other clubs and some other managers. He says clubs like Man United, trophies no longer prove success. I can assure that we will finish in the top 4 this season. I assured we was going to finish in the top 4 after that 1-0 win against West Ham. But if we was to finish second this season, and we was to win the Europa League, I'd turn around and say, yeah, that represents a good season for Man United and that gives us something to build on going on into next season. The main explanation why Solskjaer is still Manchester United manager is because he is a club legend. And reflecting on that, our board have got a very, very soft stance on him. But disregarding him being a club legend, I don't think he would have been here now. So that's what's basically saved him being a club legend. And there's a lot of Man United fans that are Ole out. Ole outs were trending on social media not so long ago after our 3-1 defeat to Leicester. Obviously, these Ole outs have got main explanations behind why they want him out. For me, Solskjaer's in a position he shouldn't be in. He doesn't have that big club arrogance as a manager. And you can probably say we give him the job too soon. Maybe we should have waited until the end of that particular season to decide or not whether to give him the job. But Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job despite him knowing the culture of the club. But reflecting now on his been at the club, he has gained some managerial experience and learnt quite a bit on the job. Solskjaer has been Manchester United manager around 27 months now, so that's over 2 years. You know, we did appoint him in December 2018. He's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. But it wouldn't really solve a lot if we sacked him anyway, because obviously when we have been inconsistent, not all of the blame has stemmed from him. And as far as I'm aware at the moment, there's no one available to replace him. But we have got to credit him in quite a few aspects. You know, he has made some good signings since he's come in. He's got rid of a lot of players since he's come in. He did well last season in his first full season, got us qualification for the Champions League, got us a third place finish and guided us to 3 semi-finals. You know, this season got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, got us to the FA Cup quarters, and he's got us to the Europa League quarter-finals. We are unbeaten away from home in the Premier League for over a year. We are unbeaten in our last 22 Premier League away games. It was 28 in all competitions until Leicester had beaten us in the FA Cup quarter-final. And we have enjoyed very good periods under Ollie as well. So, they are the positives. But I've probably got to say he is our best manager since Ferguson. In the last 8 years, Man United have been playing catch-up. You know, despite us sacking 3 managers since Ferguson, nothing's changed. You know, it has been an ongoing cycle of inconsistency. As well, despite us overpaying for players, despite us spending over £1 billion on players, still nothing has changed. But we have made mistakes in the last 8 years, and that's one of the main explanations why we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been. We haven't been the same team since Ferguson left, and like I've already said to you numerous times, no one is going to replicate what Ferguson did at the club, and we've got to accept that in that aspect, you know. You know, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013, and I don't think Solskjaer can lead us to a Premier League title. I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't think he can. We haven't won the Premier League for 8 years now. Ollie is still inheriting some players from other managerial eras. You know, there's still some players here from the Jose Mourinho era. But Solskjaer's got rid of a few players that Mourinho brought in. There's still some players here from the Van Gaal era, but the vast majority of the players Van Gaal brought in are no longer here now. Matt's still here from the Moyes era, and there's 2 here from the Ferguson era, and that's Jones and David De Gea. Our next game after this international break is Brighton, and we should be beating them. We've got to bounce back from that 3-1 defeat to Leicester in the FA Cup quarter-final, because that was an abysmal performance by Manchester United. The only positive from Man United perspective in that game against Leicester was Mason Greenwood's goal. You know, Leicester were just on top from the start. You know, they pressed well, they kept the ball well, they passed the ball well, they committed men forward, had some good chances, so they could have won by more than 3. They could have had more than 3 goals. You know, Iheanacho scored 2 for Leicester, and Youri Tielemans got the other one. Fred was absolutely abysmal for us. He gave the ball away countless times, and he was accountable for Iheanacho's first goal. It was probably Fred's worst game in a Manchester United shirt, but I was disappointed because the FA Cup was a chance of a trophy for Man United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But Solskjaer said he had no regrets over the team selection against Leicester. A lot of United fans did come out and say, you know, why did we not start our 2 best players, who have obviously been Fernandes and Luke Shaw this season. So yeah, doing another video soon, guys. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.